they still gotta play us. Let's go, baby. Woo!
Hey, don't run that ball on the one hover, showed you how that go down. Feeling like Santino, tell him we want all the smoke now. We ain't snooping that commercial, we don't put no smoke down. Plus we back and you can't hide, so it ain't nowhere safe to go now. And we always gon' turn up in that jungle every time. How we ain't gon' win when we loaded in with 9? Plus T just came in signed, so the city gon' be fine. Jamar say he open every time and he ain't never lied. Look at how we win at it, the size of the old line. Giving Burrow extra time should be a federal crime. Hey, we right back on that path again. Put the division back to the test, they won't pass again. Orlando and Trent Brown, that's the Tower Twins. Feel like we only getting better as we stacking wins.
And we stacking.
Jasecki in for 6, that's a gritty again. AFC North battles getting gritty again. It's Yoshi second year, and we just brought Burton in. Vaughn back to ring some bells, get the cracking again.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of Midwest Best Barbecue. I ask you this every single day. If you have not tried it out yet, why the hell not? Please check out Midwest Best Barbecue. Get you some CTB wings, some Uno wings, some G-Funk, some Dillinator wings. Maybe we'll find out if Paul Dehner said Midwest Best. But if you haven't, please check them out. Also, the show's brought to you by Meyer Door and Windows. You can check them out at www.meyercincinnati.com for all your window and door needs. And my West Side peeps, do me a favor. Go check out Hell Marriage right in the heart of Cheviot. It is your ticket to the game. And if you guys do not know, if you've been living under a rock, we got our own pregame show this year. Each and every Bengals home game, the Mercedes-Benz of Fort Mitchell Club at Moorline Lager House, the pregame experience. I highly recommend you guys get some tickets. The tickets link is in the top of the YouTube chat. So please get your tickets there. Portion of the proceeds go to charity, and we're going to have an absolute blast there. It's going to be a lot of fun. What's up there, everybody? Thanks for joining us a little bit early because you got Paul Dehner on here. You got to show up when the man can give you his time. So what's up, stranger? Tony Blaze and Rebecca. Jerome, what is going on? All right, guys, he's a busy man. We're going to get to this. He is from the Bald Guys or the Bald Podcast or no, just something with balds. He always talks about that. It's Paul Dehner. I might have hit the button, right? Hey, come on. Hey, Paul, what's up, buddy?
What's going on? How we doing, Ice?
I'm all right. My computer doesn't want to work too good right now. It's doing weird stuff to me, but it's all right. So, how you been? What's new? Myles Murphy sounds like it's not catastrophic, which is good. Sprained MCL, is that what we're hearing?
Yeah, it sounds like it's probably just going to be a few weeks, and it'll whether he gets back week 1 or week 2, is probably depending on how it heals, but nothing major, which is good. You avoid the catastrophe. Never like when you see the non-contact injury and somebody down on the ground on their side of the field, but looks like they avoided anything terrible, so he's going to miss some time, but should be back before too long. Shout out to James Rapine, our guy. I think he had that this morning.
Yep, I saw it saw it this morning when I was at work still, so I'm like, ooh, that's good news. I was hoping somehow, because we had the same scare a couple weeks ago with Charlie Jones. He went down on non-contact and he got carted off the field. And now he's back practicing, so we avoided, knock on wood here, 2 major injuries to knees, so that's good. We didn't avoid them with Deontay Smith or Chris Evans, so you're not going to avoid everybody. You got them out, and you got Cam Sample out. But let's talk about what does that mean for Joseph Osai? And do you me personally, I'm not playing Joseph Osai Thursday. I'm not playing any of the starters Thursday, but how much of an emphasis does this put on Joseph Osai and the door wide open for him this year?
It has been. I mean, this is kind of one of the first times that we have heard Lou Anarumo be like universally positive about Joseph Osai. He's kind of been a doghouse guy for a while, where it seems like you never really understand why. I want to say, I'd have to go back and double check it, but if you go back a year ago in this last preseason game, Osai was playing a ton and it felt like a punishment. It was like, why is Joseph Osai still out here with all these guys that are not going to make the team or even the practice squad? But they felt like he he needed it. He needed the work, but the one thing that you heard all off season was Joseph stay here. He's been as dedicated in the offseason as he's ever been. He's healthy for once. I think they feel like they're finally getting a real shot at what they thought they drafted. And you've seen in flashes with Joseph Osai. And this opens up that opportunity even a little bit more.
Yeah, and they need him. I mean, Cam Sample's gone. Myles Murphy's going to be out for a couple weeks. Because the whole point or for getting Myles Murphy and Cam Sample and these guys is to take some snaps off the H-boys. And when you keep getting these guys injured, because we've seen it. I mean, you got to drag Sam Hubbard and Trey Anderson off the field. And I don't want to see, if we're in the AFC Championship game again, those guys on the sideline just sucking wind because they've had so many snaps. And if you can get Joseph Osai in there and hopefully Myles Murphy when he comes back to take some snaps away from them, I think that's a good thing and keep them fresh, keep a rotation there.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that they've talked about a lot this year is trying to get that rotation really be back, and something they felt like they were getting closer to in recently last year, but not totally. And I think that it's possible this year.
Sounds good. All right. Rebecca here wants to know, tell her something about the running game, which I was gonna bring that up as well. What's your thoughts on Chase Brown, Zach Moss, how the running game has looked in training camp, and how is it going to look move forward? Is it more explosive, more consistent? Where are you at on the running game?
Yeah, I mean, I think they really like what they have in Chase Brown and Zach Moss as a combination. I think they're thrilled about where that's at and who they can be for them. It's always hard to really judge running game. It's just, look, when people aren't tackling, it's hard. I think you've definitely seen moments in the Chicago joint practice and some of the stuff that they've done recently where you're like, oh, look like they popped a run there. And yesterday we saw a little bit of this 2 tight end set with Eric All and Drew Sample together, and Eric All going in motion is this like hammer crack.
I like that
play. Yeah, really like that. And it worked a couple of times, especially they were doing that.
Of course they do that when I'm not down there, Paul.
Yeah. and I really like that, and I think that's something you could see them dip into to try to get a little bit more out of the run game as they get going. But I think it's in a pretty good place. It's just really hard to say anything super confidently about what the run game will look like until you go out there and play. And we haven't, you had the one drive with the starters against the Bucks, and that really wasn't super. It was okay, but you're how much judgment are you really giving off of how many runs that was for? Yeah. And so I just think for now you're at a point where you think it's in a good place. I think everybody feels pretty good about where it's at, but you have to see as it goes.
I kind of feel that same way about the ring as I do about watching Joe. I mean, I think Joe's looked good. Don't get me wrong, but when people are like, "Oh, you think he's game ready? He's this, he's that," I'm like, I think so. I mean, he looks really good, but they're playing against air, and like I said, there was a run that Chase Brown did early in training camp when they were doing 2-hand touch, and it looked like nobody touched him. But again, I don't know that for sure because they're not going full speed, they're not doing this. But I mean, I'm going to ask you. People ask me, what do you think of Joe? I mean, what's with the glove? Like people, Zach said he's done that before. I don't remember him ever doing that before, but that doesn't mean he hasn't. What's your thoughts on Joe and what the glove doesn't mean anything?
The glove is hard to say. We're always going to have our antennas up about stuff going on that it looks new. Right. After what happened last year with the compression sleeve on the calf and what happened with the wrist. And now, you have something on this right hand wrist, I guess, in between throwing. And so, I think your antennas are up about that. And I have not seen him ever do that. Not take it on and off like that.
Yeah, that was weird.
Now, and granted, we're not in a lot of the practices once the season starts. I mean, we have full access to camp and what have you, but so maybe it is something that he does in certain conditions or at certain times. that seems new to me, but we'll take their word for it, I guess. That said, we can go by what we've seen. And I think Joe has looked really good. I thought he looked really good against the Colts yesterday. I thought, he had a couple of throws that stood out. One in particular that he had an absolute rope in a super tight window to T. Higgins along the sideline. Not the one that you've probably seen where T leaps. He looks like he could have taken a dime off the top of the backboard. But I mean, the other, he had one to the other side, and it's a super tight window outside the numbers in a third down drill, and just right on the money, big time velo. I just, that's what you were looking for. Those are the types of throws you wondered about. Like, we've seen him throw deep. We've seen him catch a ton of chunks in the middle to intermediate. It's in a competitive session with a tiny window and needing to put a little extra on it to get it there. What's that look like in that competitive situation? And he looked really good. That one stood out to me. But I think you can say I've seen him make comfortably every throw you'd want to see him make over the course of this camp. And I think he's in a really good spot to open the year. The rest of the stuff, gloves, speculation, I can't speak to that. I can know by what I've seen, and I feel like I've seen more than enough to feel comfortable about where Burrow's at entering week one.
And one thing I like to say about that is we don't know what Joe normally looks like for a full training camp. We've never seen it before. So that's why some people are like, well, is this normal? I'm like, I don't know. I've never seen Joe play a full training camp. So maybe. I have no idea. We don't know. I mean, apparently that's what this looks like because, he's not playing Thursday, which I'm fine with. I don't want him playing Thursday. So that's one thing that I thought, and I thought of that last night when I was at work. I'm like, maybe this is, because I said it because people were talking about how he kind of had trags on yesterday for a little bit, and he said there's parts of the day he looked great, parts of the day he didn't look good. The day before that, there was looked like he was getting a little frustrated, and I'm like, this is the longest that he's been at a NFL training camp. So this is all new to him too, maybe, so this is how he's reacting to things possibly.
Yeah, I think you've seen frustration at times. He's talked about there being good days and bad days as you work your way all the way back from the injury. And also he's had days where he's out there without Jamar and T and trying to get guys that are winning one-on-ones, against what's been a really good defense throughout camp. And I think he's a competitor that way. There's frustration in that. Like, I'm not getting completions. I'm not moving the ball. My receivers aren't getting open as much as I want them to because I'm throwing to, Shed Jackson and Kwame Lassiter and guys that are going to be on the practice squad likely. And so I think that, there's frustration in some of that stuff that you've seen at times, but I think that's just because day in and day out, he's a competitor and they're not winning all the time. The defense is playing pretty well at times. So, but I thought Tuesday for certain times where maybe it wasn't perfect yesterday. I thought for the most part, Joe looked really good. I think it generally looked more than good enough over the course of camp.
Yeah, it sounds like, for what I gathered, it sounded like he's ready to go. He's game. I don't know if game ready, but ready to ramp up for week one. Now, with that being said, what's your thoughts on Uno? On Jamar Chase? Are we going to see him? Me and Skinny are kind of on the same wavelength. If he's not here, cut down day, if he's not practicing by then, he might be missing week one. That's cut down day is August 28th. If he doesn't start playing after that, I know Joe said he only needs one practice, but he probably needs at least a week, at least.
Well, he is doing stuff now.
Yeah,
he was off there. He had his jersey and went down to the indoor after practice the other day. He's been out running routes before practice. Like, he's not doing nothing. And now it is very, very different when you're talking about real football work. And I think no matter what happens, he'll probably end up referencing whenever he comes back about needing a couple weeks to get truly all the way back. But Jamar's a pretty unique guy. And so I don't think he needs a ton of time. I think Labor Day is a good one to keep an eye on. Okay. The Monday before that where you get into the real week of being back, they'd love for it to be sooner, but I think that's kind of a time that you would say, okay, the season kind of starts with their practices as they get into that week.
Right.
So, I mean, I can tell you right now, my thought is that I don't think there's obviously only one question that matters, and that's if Jamar's willing to miss games this year, because the Bengals stance has been pretty solid about thinking that it's probably a deal that needs to be done next year. Don't know if they're going to get there with that. And if they don't, is Jamar willing to go there? Is he willing to say, I'm going to miss games even though I have 2 seasons left on my contract? That I don't know that Jamar knows that answer right now.
Right.
Like, I don't think you know that until you're forced to actually make the decision, look your teammates and your quarterback in the eye and say, I'm not going to be out there with you guys against New England business. Right. And I don't, it's easy to say it. It's a lot harder to do it. And from a Bengals perspective too, I think they'll feel like, are they willing to go there and give somebody something they're not comfortable with? I don't think so. They're not going to get bullied into doing a deal that they don't want to do. We know that about them over the years. It's just not something that traditionally happens. It actually usually has the opposite effect of making them dig in a little harder. So I don't know. And I think it's okay to say we don't know right now whether he's willing to miss games or not. It's the only question that's really up there. He will play at some point this year because you got to play to accrue games to actually get your year of service. So any talk about that, like it'd be something that I don't see it floating very far into the season. If it did go there, I still don't. My gut still says that he plays week 1, but hey, who knows?
I mean, I'm with you. My gut say he plays week 1. But you never know. He's went this far, and me and Skinny have talked about this. It's like, he's not really hurting anybody missing this time at training, which is, like you said, he is doing stuff. He's just not out in the public doing stuff. So what is he really missing? But the thing is, if you're actually willing to miss games, I mean, Carson Palmer would have stayed retired if Oakland hadn't given Mike Brown all those draft picks. Yeah. They were not going to let him. Like, go ahead, retire. Mike Brown doesn't give up. You know what I mean? And the thing is, and I can argue both ways. I understand why Uno wants his money because injury factor and all that stuff. But then I can understand, well, the Bengals, this is the collective bargaining agreement that your union negotiated. You're here for 2 years, and those 2 years are already guaranteed. He's getting that money no matter what. Yeah. Unless he misses games. So again, I don't know either. But like I said, I can argue both ways.
Yeah, and Justin Jefferson didn't get his deal before his 5th year, before his 5th year option season. Of course, Justin Jefferson didn't sit out or really be a public complainer at all about anything before his 4th season. And so, I just think that they've kind of been handled different ways, but traditionally, very typically, almost universally, you've seen these guys' 1st-round picks end up being signed before their 5th year, not their 4th year. The only reason in time that changed was the few this year where everyone was trying to get in front of Justin Jefferson because they knew that tax was coming and going to change the market. And that's why Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle deals specifically got done this year. Almost across the board previously since the new CBA in 11. These have always come before the 5th year.
And there's no way in hell Jamar was signing before before
Jefferson. He wasn't even going to entertain anything until Jefferson was signed. Absolutely not. Nor should he.
No, absolutely not. No, he should not have that. And it would have been crazy to do that because Jefferson set the mark for him. Now, I don't know if he's going to get Jefferson money. I mean, I don't think they're going to go that high, but it's gonna be a pretty good chunk of change. People ask me on the show here, and I keep forgetting to look. McKinley Jackson, he hasn't been on the field, right? Is he?
No.
Now, what is he suffering with? Is he going to be on the PUP list, or where's he at moving into the beginning of the season here?
Well, he can't go on the PUP list because he's already practiced. That has to be a thing where you were out the entirety of camp and never activated off the PUP list. But you could start the year on injured reserve, which is 3 weeks or whatever, and so it could be a thing like that. You got to get him worked back and get closer. That'll be a decision that'll come down to some of the roster gymnastics when they get into next Tuesday of who they want to keep, where they can find space. He may be a guy they find space for by putting him on IR to start the year. So right now, here's the thing. Even if you told me that McKinley Jackson was coming back next week, which we're not,
Right.
what do you have? It's a
that was my
rookie.
next- right,
It's a
that was my
rookie
next thing.
97th overall pick who you don't really know much about, and you don't really know what you're going to get. Are you really willing to put him out there in games right now? I don't know. And so you worry about how much of his rookie season this injury is going to curtail and take him out of. I think it could be quite a bit.
Yeah, that actually read my mind. That was my next thing. It's like, all right, people ask him like, but he hasn't practiced. We don't know what we have with him. That rolls me into my next question. The thing that I've been concerned about all off season, and training camp still is our run defense. In general, how do you feel about it? I mean, I've said this before. The Bengals get off to a fast start and we drop 30 on everybody. That's a pretty good run defense, but you can't count on that. You want somebody in there, and we're trying to replace DJ Reader, which I know DJ Reader injured, yada yada. I get it, but he's still a big piece to try and replace. And the guys that we've gotten are known as more pass rushers than run defenders. So, what's your thought on the Bengals run defense?
I don't think it's going to be great.
Yeah,
but I don't know that that's going to matter a ton, and that's not about the Bengals or them scoring 30 or whatever. It's that if you just look at the best teams, the teams that are playing towards the end every year, whether you're good or not against the run is rarely consistent. Like, it's just not a thing. We know what you need to be. You need to be able to throw the ball effectively. You need to be efficient in the passing game. If you're not, you have no shot. You need to be able to rush and cover on defense. You need to be able to rush the passer. You need to be able to cover. And that's what matters more than anything. And if they can do that, the run defense can be a weakness. And it can be something that teams can maybe exploit every once in a while. But it's not going to necessarily keep you from winning as many games as you want to or need to. It's going to be different without DJ Reader there. He did a lot. I was talking to Logan Wilson about this the other day, and I said, do you need a big body to stop the run? How different is it without DJ for you? And he's like, it's different, but that doesn't mean that it's better or worse necessarily. He's like, we're never going to replace DJ. You're never going to replace what he does. Right. They have to do it differently. Sheldon's a different player. Sheldon gives you more as a pass rusher. Sheldon Rankins is a much better pass rusher than DJ Reader. And that's not, really, I don't think anything DJ would take offense to. He's not as good at stopping the run, but he's more disruptive. He's going to be more lateral. He's going to get into the backfield more often. DJ Reader is going to take two people and hold them up in the air and say, they're out of the play now. Right. You go make the play. And Logan was saying, it's our job as linebackers to make the person in front of us right. So if Sheldon goes and makes a crazy move to the left and gets into the backfield to reroute it, I go to the right and fill it and make him right. That's our job. And that's effective too. The same way that DJ Reader holding up two guys can be effective in its own way. And if it's about having a better pass rush, well, Sheldon brings you that. And maybe Chris Jenkins brings you part of that too. And Lou Anarumo, when I talked to him yesterday, sounded pretty optimistic about what Chris Jenkins is and has been thus far as both a pass rusher and a run stopper, and being able to be part of their rotation this year. So I think it has to look different. I don't think it's going to be a great aspect of the team, but I think it's something that you can make up for by doing a lot of other things well that I think that they should be set up to do pretty well, and that's what they have to hope for.
Oh, Paul, you just made me feel a lot better. I'll tell you that. Thank
well, I don't mean to do that. I said it wasn't going to be good.
You did make me feel. I mean, no, honestly, I'm not being sarcastic. You really did make me feel better because it's like, well, yeah. I mean, if those guys they go up, they go left, and then Wilson and them got to go right and fill, make them right. I think that's a great point. To be honest, I thought about that, but not really. But that and the thing is, like, for us, it's AFC North football, everybody runs the ball, and that's where I hear that all the time. So it's like, yeah, you got to stop the run, but you can win without it being, a mainstay.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a passing league.
Yeah.
This league is about throwing and being able to stop the other team from being efficient throwing. That's the difference. That's how teams win and lose games. And nobody and no division will challenge that theory more than this one. And we saw that last year when teams just pushed the Bengals around and it really hurt them.
Yeah.
But I still think that inevitably, if you do those two things well, you can very easily overcome, something like having a soft run defense.
Exactly. All right, real quick. I know you got to get out of here. Is Dax Hill going to be our starting number 2 corner?
Yeah, it's done.
You think so?
I think he earned it. I don't think he plays Thursday. I think it's over.
You don't think he's playing Thursday? Really?
I mean, maybe a little bit. I don't think he needs to. I think he's shown enough. Okay. I think it's over. I think he's cornerback 2, and it hasn't been close really for a couple of weeks now. I mean, we haven't seen DJ Turner playing with the ones since right before the Tampa Bay game.
Right.
And Dax has made plays every time he's been out there, and they're really happy with his development, and I think they're ready to go with it.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I heard, I think somebody asked Lou, I don't remember if you asked him or not, Dax likes to cover and he likes to blitz.
Yeah.
That's a DB. Perfect. Paul, I know you got to go. You want to plug some stuff before I let you get out of here?
Yeah, no, I think, you know what? We'll be good partners this year. You know what? Because for a bunch of games, we're doing a live show down on the banks too. But ours starts 4 hours before the game. Yours starts 3 hours before the game. So people can come over to ours, get some free graders and $3 Cincy lights over at Nation Kitchen and BetMGM. Ask us questions, get some giveaways, and then they can head down to yours at Moreline and take part of all your experience and have a full pregame party that's just a ton of fun. So we're doing one tomorrow, 4:00 before the Colts game. We'll be down there, and that's going to be a bunch of fun. Of course, make sure you are listening to the Growler wherever you get your podcasts, and listening to the Growler podcast on your YouTube channel. And yeah, I still write for The Athletic, all kinds of stuff up there. Make sure you check that out.
Yeah, balds don't lie. That's what I was trying to say when the beginning of the show, and I thought of the ball guys. That's Dan Horde, and
there's so many. I have a number of different shows, but if you're on the Growler podcast, if you go to the Growler podcast, you can catch all those shows on the network.
Exactly, you'd be a growl pal. All right, well, hey, go check out Paul, and then come see me on not this weekend, but I'm doing opening weekend anyway. Paul, appreciate you, brother.
Thanks, Ice. See you.
I gotta get my mouse to work here to get you out of here. There we go. Bye, Paul. My mouse doesn't want to work. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that much as I did. I tried to get as much information out of them as I could get. But yeah. So I am doing the Moreline Logger House, Fort Mitchell. Let's try this again. I gotta get the actual name right here. Mercedes-Benz of Fort Mitchell at Moreline Logger House, a pregame experience. Starts 3 hours before every home game. It's gonna be an awesome time. We are charging $100 a ticket, but you get open bar. I just put that out there. Open bar, a delicious Moreline buffet with all their delicious food. There will be former Bengal players there. I will be there as your MC. We'll have a DJ. The Bengals captain will be there. We'll have some other Bengal super fans making some appearances throughout the season. It's going to be a big pregame party. Again, if you guys are interested in getting tickets, there's a limited number of tickets. So the link is pinned at the top of the YouTube chat. So make sure you guys click on that and get your tickets. Again, that's the Mercedes-Benz of Fort Mitchell at Moreline Logger House, the pregame experience. Also, something interesting. I am working on my first article for ZTV. Working on it. Well, not right now, but started it. Now I'll finish it when I get off the show here. Once it is published, I will tweet it out, and maybe you guys can check it out and tell me what you think. I'd appreciate it. We are one day away tomorrow. I will have a guest on, and his name is none other than Shane Graham. And we will be on at 3:30 because Bengals game's on at 8, so I'm heading down to the Moreline House. Maybe I'll stop over at Nations too and say hi to Paul Dehner and the guys over there, and then head to Moreline House and hang out there, and then head on into the game. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I don't think there'll be a lot of starters. I was kind of surprised that Paul said Dax Hill won't start, because I kind of got the feeling that the secondary guys were going to start just for one last, hurrah of who is the number one guy. And I agree with him. I think Dax is the number 2 corner. I've kind of been saying that all training camp. Even when people are at the beginning were like, "Oh, he's getting burnt." Like, he's not really getting burnt. He's right there. I say he's just needs to make plays on the ball, and he's getting better, and he's getting better, and he's getting better, and he's been getting better. Dax Hill has I said this from the beginning, he has the athletic ability, the speed, everything you want to be a good cornerback in this league. There's a chance, in my opinion, to be honest, and this could be a bold prediction for the beginning of the season, but we got a chance with Dax and Cam Taylor-Britt to be those two to be the best tandem, I think, in the NFL. There's a chance. Those guys are that good. They are that athletic, and they are that fast, and they're that good at covering, and they love to cover people. So, see what you think about that. We'll find out how close I am to being right. But yeah, and and I'll talk some else here. Some people are like freaking out. Like, don't freak out since the starters aren't going to play. I know Monday I was like, I can see them playing, But after the way they played in the joint practice with the Bears, there's no reason for them to play. There's no reason for them to play. They are ready to go. Especially Joseph Osai. The dude made it through training camp, and he's healthy. Especially Joe Burrow. He made it through training camp. He's healthy. Don't play them. Some of the guys I was talking to at work, they're like, yeah, but that's the reason we got the bad starts. The reason we got the bad starts is because Joe Burrow was hurt, and Joe Burrow was not participating fully in training camp practices. Have you seen preseason games? They're really nothing. I mean, they're not actual games. I mean, that's why everybody freaks out about Caleb Williams making a great throw, which he did against our third, fourth string guys. That's why I'm sure Chicago Bear fans say, "Oh my God, we're going to be great this year. Look what we did against the Bengals." Third and fourth string players. There's the preseason, the practices are more important than the games. They've all made it through training camp. Next week, they're ramping up for the Patriots. It's going to be full go. Those are the things that's more important. That's why don't freak out if the Bengals don't play their starters, because I don't think they're going to. And I don't think they need to. You don't need to take a chance. There's no reason to take a chance to hurt somebody. Why? For what? And in Paul Dehner's mind, if Dax Hill is the number 2 corner, that's cool with me. I've kind of been saying that myself. So I don't want any of the starters to start. It is football, but we got, after Thursday night, the next NFL games we see will be actually legit NFL football. It'll be awesome. I cannot wait. Burrow's made it through the whole thing. Glove, no glove, whatever. Like I said, we've never seen Joe Burrow go through an entire training camp. We don't know what that looks like. We have no idea. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be some, oh my God, that's so weirder than everybody else's. That's not what I'm saying. It's just, we don't know what that's like. We've never seen him go. This is the first time for a whole healthy training camp. So some of the stuff that, like, where he's hot and cold and getting, I mean, that could be normal for him to do that, to go through his process, to do what he's got to do to get himself ready for the season. Because Joe's even said he'll make throws in training camp that he won't make during the regular season game, because he just wants to see if he can do it, if he can fit the ball in there. That's the time to try it. It's then, especially if you're playing another team, because these guys have got to be sick and tired of playing against each other. So I'm sure they're ramped up and ready to go for Thursday. Anyway, guys, I thank you for watching. I already said the Moron Lager House. Let me get to the best barbecue joint in the city of Cincinnati. That is Midwest's best barbecue. They're right outside there off 275 in Wards Corner Avenue exit. Tell Tim and Nicole I sent you. It's a great family-owned restaurant. They got CTV wings, Uno wings, Grippo, G-Funk, pulled pork sandwiches. I think they got the ribs every third Saturday, which I haven't had them yet, but I'm sure they're delicious. I don't know what Tim did something. Tim knows how to cook some barbecue. The man can cook some barbecue, and then it is absolutely delicious. So, do me a favor, please go check out Midwest Best Barbecue. Also, if you guys are looking for windows and doors, please do me a favor, go check out Meyer Windows and Doors and more at www.meyercincinnati.com for all your windows and doors needs. I got them in my house. I highly recommend you get them in yours. And my West Side peeps, go check out Hail Mary's, your ticket to the game, right there in the heart of Cheviot. For you non-West Siders, that's Cheviot. Right there in the heart of Cheviot, they got big ass TV screen, beer specials, free parking, food trucks, great atmosphere to watch your sporting events or just to hang out. Again, that's Hail Mary's, your ticket to the game. And one last time, if you guys have not gotten tickets yet, please get tickets. They are in the YouTube chat, pinned to the top. The link is there. It's Mercedes-Benz of Fort Mitchell at Moreland Lager House, the pregame experience. We start 3 hours before every home football game, and it's going to be an absolute blast. I cannot freaking wait to do this. Again, my thanks to Mercedes-Benz and Moreland Lager House for giving me the opportunity to do this. You're going to get an open bar. You get delicious Moreland food, buffet. You're getting a DJ. You get a great atmosphere. You're going to meet some former Bengals. I can't tell you who they are yet, but we're getting close to being able to announce that. Come there on Tuesdays for my live show. It's going to be an awesome season. We're all going to celebrate the Bengals on the road to New Orleans. Again, that's Mercedes-Benz of Fort Mitchell Club at Moreland Lager House. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. I'll be back tomorrow. I see tomorrow. Hold on a second. I know it's a weird. Tomorrow's a weird time to. Oh yeah, I already said it. Did I? Thursday? Yes, I did. I got Shane Graham on the show tomorrow at 3:30. 3:30 to 4:30. Shane Graham will be on there, and we'll be doing a preview of the Bengals-Colts game. And then, like I said, if you guys are interested, go on down to Moreland House. I'll be down there hanging out, having a good time. It won't be the pregame show. I'll just be down there hanging out, and we'll have a good time. You can come say hi, have a couple beers or whatever, and we can talk some football. And other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. Throw it up. That's just sports, baby. See ya!
They still gotta play us. Let's go, baby. Woo!
Hey, don't run that ball on the one hover, showed you how that go down. Feeling like Santino, tell him we want all the smoke now. We ain't snooping that commercial, we don't put no smoke down. Plus we back and you can't hide, so it ain't nowhere safe to go now. Hey, we always gon' turn up in that jungle every time. How we ain't gon' win when we loaded in with 9? Plus T just came in signed, so the city gon' be fine. Jamar say he open every time and he ain't never lied. Look at how we win at it, the size of the old line. Giving Burrow extra time should be a federal crime. Hey, we right back on that path again. Put the division back to the test, they won't pass again. Orlando and Trent Brown, that's the Tower Twins. Feel like we only getting better as we stacking wins.
And we stacking.
Jaceki in for 6, that's a gritty again. AFC North battles getting gritty again. It's Yoshi's second year, we just brought Burton in. Vaughn back to ring some bells, get the cracking again.